Ooh, ah, ee, ah, ee, ah, eh. Ooh, ah, ee, ah, ooh, ah, yeah. Ooh, ah, ee, ah, ooh, ah, yeah. Ooh, ah, ee, ah, ooh, ah, yeah.
I don't see none of my children being invisible. My son have a life, even though he's negative. My daughter has a life, even though she's positive. And invisible is totally out of the question, because there is medication, there is hope, and there is, an opportunity to continue and go on with your life. I was in a relationship, and I found out at 4 months pregnancy of my child, my second child. And when I found out, I was nervous. At first, I wanted to get rid of the baby. That was since the child was 4 months in belly. And then I was discouraged by nurses. There are medication for this child not to get this virus. However, it was a 50-50 chance. She ended up still receiving the virus. I was mad, but yet I say everything happens for a reason. God doesn't give you what you can't bear. She is 4 years old, and she's not aware of the disease. All she asks is, Mommy, why do I have to take my medication all the time? And I told her, well, babes, we have to do this to live. My son wasn't aware of it all the time. I decided, okay, he's 8 years old now, and it's time you need to get him to understand, well, mommy is sick, sister is sick, and sit down and explain to him what is the disease, what is HIV, where it came from, and what harm it could do to you or what harm it can't do to you. He was like, well, mommy, so it have no cure. I say, no, it doesn't. And he said, well, mommy, he started to cry. And he said, mommy, I don't want you to die, And he started to cry. And that's when I and all got emotional. And I told him, I said, listen to me, everything is going to be okay. Don't cry. Once sister and I take medication, we would live as long as God allow us to. And I try, even though I tried to prop him up, I couldn't help it. I explained to him, if you play with a child and a child has AIDS or HIV, it will not do you no harm. If you laugh with a child, you hug up a child, you kiss a child on the cheek, it would not harm you. I said, look how long you have been around your sister since she's been. I said, and you have been negative all this time.
I comes and he comes. And now, as I go under the
then
bed,
he understood, because afterwards when the neighbors were, I don't want my children going there, and I don't want my children playing with them. They say them, they categorize the whole family, end of story. With my son, I did not explain anything to with his teacher. He attends a different school from her. But my daughter goes a preschool, and I personally, on a one-on-one, spoke to the teacher, and I let her know, listen, my daughter is HIV positive, and if you can throw an extra eye on her, please, because, you know, I find it is being fair. I'm not saying that, yes, she is dangerous towards other children, but I'm saying it is a teacher's duty to know the health of every school child in her school. However, parents, by rumors of the villagers, found out that, okay, this child could be, they don't know for sure that this child is HIV. Eventually, they came to the teacher and they were like, why is this parent sending her daughter to school? Isn't this parent HIV? Can this child be HIV too? Why is she sending her child to school? And this is what triggered me off, because at the end of the day, I fight, and I really, really do fight to make my daughter look and feel the best she could day after day. And this is why I'm going to have a meeting with the parents soon to educate them and to let them know that I am not taking my daughter out of the school, because it is unfair. She feels funny when children being kept away from her. She sees it and she doesn't understand. But I knew. She would come to me and say, Mommy, this one don't want to play with me again. Why do not come in to play with me again? And I would say, well, they have plenty schoolwork to do. I will have to make up excuses. Then she will see them playing in another yard and she will be upset. And I will say, well, if they don't want to play with you, you don't want to play with them. Keep away. You come and stay with Mommy. Mommy want company. She doesn't know that she's HIV at present. All she knows, she's taking medication. But this child plays, laughs, talks, runs, everything, everything. She's active. She's pretty. She blossomed as a pretty flower. And this child is, watch me, sometimes my son gets jealous. Sometimes he say, Mommy, you act like you love her more than me. But when I had sit down with him and explain to him everything, he realized. And I let him know, hey, I love you just as much. But it's just that to me, within myself, I blame myself for her being in this situation. Right? So I throw out myself to her because I think I owe her that much. And the thing about it, she's not the first, she's not going to be the last. We're fighting against discrimination, we're fighting against people going out there being wild about this whole act, this sex act. Please, take your time, be careful. You have to understand, it's all about education. Go to the schools, let the children know, all those who have it, take your medication and everything is going to be alright. All those that don't have it, please be careful because it is not nice to live with. It is not easy, it's not an easy road. As simple as that.